action live on MixTV.tv this Friday. You don't have MixTV.tv? It's available for free on the Mix app. You can download it at MyMix1041.com. Walker Valley, Sevier County. Watch the entire game on MixTV.tv. Driven by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland.
This is Thomas Williams with Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. Stop by today and take advantage of Bradley County's largest pre-owned inventory, or visit cleveland-nissan.com, home of the lifetime warranty.
You're listening to Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. The Drive is coming up. The ESPN Cleveland 101.3 lineup is supplied by Wholesale Supply Group. WholesaleSupply.us.
Looking to take the next step? Cleveland State Community College is here to help you define your tomorrow. We've been voted the #1 college choice in your county, and it's easy to see why. Flexible classes that fit your schedule. Learn on campus, online, or both. It's your choice. Cleveland State gives you the freedom to learn when, where, and how you want. Apply now. Spring semester is just around the corner. To find out more, visit registration.clevelandstate.cc or call 423-473-2321. Define your tomorrow at Cleveland State.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no style. Got a thirst for killing. Live your body.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. Beautiful Wednesday here in Bradley County.
Yeah,
as the Bears and the Mustangs get ready for some playoffs.
Yeah, it's comfortable outside. The cold weather's behind us. It's supposed to be nice the rest of this week and even up into the weekend. So good for people that are wanting to go watch some outdoor football, that you don't have to be as bundled up as you were on Monday and Tuesday.
Hey, we're going to be outdoors, aren't we, Jim?
In the stands with the fans, man, from what I understand.
Hey, just a second take of what we did.
Wait a minute. Let me again.
Yeah, exactly. A second take of what we did at East Hamilton. Had a good time doing that. I wonder what RC and Gary setup's going to be at Oakland.
I don't know, but when I did the game up there, when I did the Cleveland game up there at Hardin Valley, it was also in the bleachers. So I've yet to do a game. Well, no, I did the first game in the press box. That's it. Everything else has been in the bleachers.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I like being a man of the people.
It can be fun at times.
You honestly get a little bit of, when it's going good, you get to celebrate with the fans. So there's perks to it.
Okay, so I've got two scenarios on that. And so we're talking about this from a broadcaster's standpoint, calling your local team's high school football games. So Jim and I did East Hamilton in the stands, but it was on the home side with the East Ham fans. So when you hit a walk-off game winner, they're not too happy while we're hollering and celebrating and talking to our fans on the radio. On the other side of that, Jacob and I last year were able to go up to Lenoir City and be on the visiting side with our fans while we're doing the broadcast. So when you're scoring, when you're tying the game up, going into overtime, you're high-fiving with everybody and having a good time. So from that standpoint, that can be a lot of fun. Me and Jim were kind of like looking around for security. I'm disabled at the moment and stuff, so I couldn't really defend myself well. But East Ham fans were not happy with us, were they, Jim?
No, that fourth quarter, and you could sense that they knew what was coming. That you could feel the vibe, you could feel the momentum changing towards Walker Valley all during that fourth quarter. And when Walker Valley, when they lined up for that field goal, their fans literally knew he was going to make it. They had more confidence he was going to make it than I did. I wasn't sure if he's going to make it or not. But they're like, we just lost this game. You know, you saw them talking amongst themselves. Yeah.
One thing that I learned from Drew Akins yesterday is that Chris Mallett, kicker for the Mustangs, leads 5A in points from kickers. Across the entire state of Tennessee in Class 5A, he is the leading point scorer.
A lot of extra points.
That is.
And how many field goals? I'm assuming he's kicked a lot of field goals.
I think he's only missed 1 or 2 field goals on the entire season. So he's been money for the Mustangs.
That's pretty
He's been
good,
big.
man.
By the way, all high school football coverage here on The Drive presented by Food City. Excited to dive into a little bit more of that later on in the show, as Damon Floyd, head coach of the Bradley Central Bears, will join us around 5:40 to talk about that playoff game up at Oakland. I imagine Gary and RC there at Oakland, it's Oakland. They win a lot up there. They got a lot of state titles. They're probably going to be camped out nice in the press box with maybe some heated seats. Maybe they're going to have a waiter bringing them stuff. I don't know. That's just that's my imagination up there at Oakland.
I'll be honest. I really hope that some of these Tennessee high schools catch up to these Georgia facilities. Like, I think about calling a game at Gainesville High School in Georgia and seeing their press box.
Buford.
Yeah, Buford.
It's insane.
One of those places, like, thinking about getting ushered up into those places where they've got a catered bar and, all that kind of stuff.
I've got mixed feelings on that. I really do. We're talking high school football, and I love high school football, and I love sports as much as the next guy. They're spending millions, with an M, with a capital M, millions of dollars on these facilities for high school football.
I think Buford was $68 million.
That's insane. Think of what you could do within that school system with, let's say, $60 million. Leave the $4 million to the stadium. You know what I'm saying?
But when you look at an aerial photograph of the stadium and you see the school in the background, the school's immaculate also.
It is.
So it's like everything. It's like a perfect world there.
Hoover's the same way in Alabama.
Yeah, it's just the way that I think their taxes work. There's something different. Like, they can vote in one-time taxes where...
Well, and think about this. We live in a state that doesn't have a state income tax. A state like Georgia that does, a lot of that money is funneled toward the educational system. So it's already being funneled into that, even without certain monies allocated for athletic facilities. If you just go across the state line, and I used to do games of the week when I was working for ESPN in Chattanooga, the difference between the facilities in the state of Georgia and the state of Tennessee is night and day. It's scary how different it is. Bigger staffs, nicer facilities. They've got, some of these schools are like Oregon. They got 4 or 5 different types of uniforms they wear. It's unbelievable, the difference. And they told me, because it's the tax money is funneled towards education, and a lot of that education money is for athletics.
Which one thing we can kind of pound our chest about here in this community, we got a lot of people, a lot of companies, a lot of businesses that contribute to these teams.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking football. I'm talking baseball, basketball, wrestling, golf.
Well, Alan Jones, we know about him, and there's others.
Yeah, our friend Mark Smith has done a lot here in the community. We know he's a Cleveland guy, big Blue Raider guy, but he's done a lot for other programs outside of Cleveland. So we're lucky to have people like that kind of close that gap, and we're not too far behind in a lot of areas when it comes to athletics here in our community. There's maybe some stadium things that could be updated at all 3 stadiums, I'm sure. Nothing remotely close, though, to the level of what we're talking about in Georgia and Alabama. Went down to Hoover High School. That place looks like a small college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, like, I have a buddy who works at Gainesville, and they have a covered 100-yard
indoor practice facility.
Well, it's kind of indoor outdoor. It's open air, but it's like these brick pavilions that
but it's covered so it doesn't get rained on.
Yep. And so, they just had, and then like you look at their weight rooms, they're like Buford's weight room is unreal.
Yep.
The gymnasium, and again, Cleveland High School has a gym that sits no backseat to anybody, but just as a whole athletics, I'm pretty sure on Buford's campus they have like 8 different turf fields.
And we were talking when we were at East Hamilton, the visitor side will eventually, and I think they're going to start doing it during this off season, will be the home side. They're going to build a whole new bleachers over there, where the current home side will be the visiting side. And if that's a visiting side, that's going to be really nice for visitors to come in there next year. But it's a process in some of these schools here in Tennessee. Bradley's got really good facilities as far as football. Cleveland, we're very blessed here in Bradley County. There are certain places. I'm not going to name any of these schools. There's a few schools down in Chattanooga. It doesn't look like they've updated their facilities in 30 years.
Yeah.
They're so antiquated.
I'll be honest, Bradley's probably one of my favorite high school stadiums that we get to travel to a lot. We go around. Upperman was a cool environment, but like when I think about like a high school football game, Bradley High School is one of the top on my list.
The thing I like about Bear Stadium is that there's no track. Okay, so when you don't have a running track, the stands can be closer to the sidelines. So you're closer to the action sitting in the stands and in the press box at Bear Stadium than just about anywhere else, because almost all your high schools have a running track around it, which forces the stands to be further away because the width of a track it's just the geometry of it. So no, Bradley's they don't take a back seat to anybody.
Yeah, walking on that field this year, I was down there for I did the McMinn Bradley pregame show, and then I just walked down there, and you just looking up into the stands, it feels like you're in a true stadium.
Yeah,
It has a Friday night feel, but then it almost has like a Saturday type feel as well.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty neat. We kind of got rabbit trailed there a little bit.
It's all good. That's what we're here to do.
We do that.
We're talking.
Little side quest on the drive.
Hey, one thing that we didn't talk about yesterday. How about our guy Drake Baldwin?
Yeah, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, National League Rookie of the Year. First catcher, by the way, to win that award since 2010. You know who that was?
It's probably a Braves guy, wasn't it?
No, it was Buster Posey.
Oh.
Buster Posey.
Yeah, who
The
just hired
Giants.
Tony Vitello as his new manager out there in San Francisco.
Yep. Gosh, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, so
Golly.
so now the Atlanta Braves have 3 guys on their roster that have won Rookies of the Year. Does anyone?
Albies, did he win it?
Did not.
He didn't
You're,
win it?
you're close though. Who's his buddy?
Acuna.
Ronald Acuna's won.
Austin Riley.
No.
No. Oh,
Michael
Walt Weiss. He
No,
won it when he was
Michael
with the
Harris.
A's.
No, not
Michael Harris.
He wasn't. It was Michael Harris. So,
But Walt Weiss won
Yeah,
the
he
Rookie
did
of the Year
as an
with,
Oakland
86, 85, somewhere around there.
yeah, as an Oakland A, you're exactly right on that. But so on the Braves roster, it's Ronald Acuna Jr., Michael Harris, and now Drake Baldwin. So that's a pretty. When you look at accolades and all those things, and we mentioned this a week or so ago. Quietly, Matt Olson wins a Gold Glove at first base, a position where Freddie Freeman plays in the same league as you. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty solid. So the Braves making some big moves. Of course, all of our Braves coverage on the drive brought to you by Mayfield Dairy.
While we're talking about baseball, did you see Joe Madden comment on Tony V?
I
did
didn't.
not- I did
I'm
not.
curious to hear this though.
Okay, so he was asked about the hiring, and this is a direct quote. I'm using the word insulting only from the perspective that it appears as though you don't have to have any professional experience to do this job anymore. Having said that, I wish him nothing but the best. And he went on to talk about how his career, how he started as like a scout and he worked his way up and yada, yada, yada.
Well,
But
we thought this would be the case.
And he did say, he goes, I didn't know anything about him. You go watch a video of him and you realize, like, okay, I understand why they want to hire this guy. Like you the energy that he brings. Like he went on to say, but I mean, those are pretty strong words coming from somebody basically saying, like, I guess you don't have to do this.
We
anymore.
all know that the first time the Giants go into a 5 or 6 game losing streak, it's going to be brought up. They're going to say, this guy's, it's over. He's over his head. He doesn't know what he's doing, blah, blah, blah. And you know it's going to happen because of the jealousy factor that some people are going to say. And some of the media people are going to use it against him. He's in a very difficult situation.
Hey, speak of our buddy Mark Smith. He just shot me a text message here. He's listening to the show and on the topic of Joe Madden. He's a guy who's been trying to get back, become a manager again, hasn't had a lot of opportunities. A lot of teams are kind of have moved past the Joe Madden era of being a manager, and that's something that I'd previously heard that's kind of confirmation from Mark that maybe Joe's wanting that job and is just not given a second thought by the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah. I always liked Joe Madden as myself.
There for a while, he was kind of an innovator with new methods, with the
what
metrics.
What he did with Tampa Bay was incredible.
I'll be honest, because you have a GM and because you have other people that help run the organization, from a manager, I want a leader of men. That's what I want. I want a guy that's going to come into a clubhouse that is going to inspire, rally, and make good decisions. Tony V has shown that he can do that.
Did Tony Vitello, did he ever play any professional baseball himself? He never made it to the minor leagues?
From my understanding, no.
Okay, I didn't know if he was good enough to play as a minor leaguer somewhere. I don't know the answer to that. Obviously, he never.
I'm going to find out right now.
He never got into the professional ranks as far as coaching.
Well,
we know that.
There's an old saying that those who can't coach, those that are not going to go on to, like Chipper Jones, he even said it in his interview about throwing his name into the ring. Baseball came naturally to him.
Right.
He was talented at it.
They can't understand when a guy can't do something.
Yeah.
Because they could do it easily.
Yeah. They didn't have to really be taught to tweak things because they just naturally did it.
Yep.
Yeah, I knew for a fact that Tony did not play in the majors, but he did not pursue a professional career. Played at Missouri. After his career at Missouri was over, went straight into the game of coaching.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah, very, very unconventional path to becoming a big league manager. But that's a testament, honestly, and I've said this on this show before. And I know Mark's going to say this. Notre Dame's a football school. There's no doubt about it, and I love my Notre Dame Fighting Irish football. But when Notre Dame beat Tennessee in the Super Regional, I believe it's 2023, I got so much enjoyment out of that because I knew we just beat a team that should and could win the national title. That's the kind of level that Tony Vitello took Tennessee baseball to. So that was Notre Dame baseball's only opportunity to make a splash in the sport as far as I'm concerned.
It's so funny talking about Tony Vitello, and I brought this up on the show. When they made that hire, it reminded me so much of when Notre Dame hired Jerry Faust. Jerry Faust was a high school football coach at Moeller High School in Cincinnati, and he took the Notre Dame job. And there were so many people that ripped Notre Dame.
We need different results here for Tony V.
I know, on the national level. And, but he was very confident he could get the job done. Unfortunately for Jerry Faust, it just did not work out for him. But I rooted for Jerry Faust because he was such a transparent individual. He was you knew where you stood with him, but it just did not work out for him at Notre Dame. I hope everything works out for Tony Vitello. I do.
Well, I think it will. I genuinely do if he gets the backing from the front office that he needs. Because at the end of the day, you look at how hard Tennessee baseball players played for Tony V. That was a testament to who he was. The energy that he brought was matched, if not even surpassed, by the guys that stepped on that field, and it's because of the culture in the locker room that he built there. And if he can do the same thing out west with a major league team, in my opinion, they could be dangerous.
Well, the word culture, when you guys say that, when you use that, that's exactly anyone that's a Tennessee baseball fan over the past so ever many years or not. If you've paid attention at all to that program in college baseball, programs like Notre Dame, like Arkansas, like Florida State, who are chomping at the bit going after Tennessee, were kind of in LSU, kind of looking at each other like, can you believe these guys? These guys are jerks. Because he had a culture of in your face, and when you're in the opposition, you didn't like it. But at the same time, when that's your guy, there's a term out there that comes from a comedy, a funny movie that says, listen, Tony V may be an a-hole, but he's our a-hole. Yeah, when it's your guy, your people, your fans, your players rally around that and love it.
Here's my... And I don't know how this is going to happen, but you're talking about you're going to be coaching millionaire baseball players have been doing this for a long, long time. Are they going to buy into the college, we're all in this together type thing? It's us against the world. That type of mentality that you get at the college level, that at the professional level, a lot of these guys are like, I'm here. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. I don't have to get enthusiastic. I don't have to start screaming at someone. I'm out here to do a job. He may run into some of that, and maybe they'll buy into his rah-rah stuff. I don't know. At the professional level, at the highest professional level, I don't know if that'll work.
I'll be honest. I think it will, especially now. college basically is a job. Like with NIL, like you now are a professional. You're a minor leaguer, I guess would be the best word. But like Kirby Smart last Saturday played a video. He had parents send in videos of them playing at 8, 9, 10 years old and say, hey, you remember when you used to have to wake up on Saturday and play an early game and you did it because of the love of the game? And he said all of his players got real emotional and they went out there and they kicked tail. Like that stuff, in my opinion, still can work because you're talking about a quarterback that's making $2 million. You're talking about an offensive lineman that's making $100K to go out there week after week after week. They're being paid now. They know. I don't know. I think it could because baseball is at the end of the day, it's a game, and it's a game that they love. And if they can be reminded of why they started playing the game in the first place, to me, it could be a really good tool if you buy into it. If you don't buy into it, and you're like, I'm here to duck my head, do my job, and then you might be tough sledding. It might not be a good fit for you in San Francisco.
Yeah, so I can say this. I know that guys within the San Francisco Giants organization, Will Clark, who still pretty much a on-staff instructional kind of guy, one of those roles, and gives Buster Posey his opinion on stuff. And obviously his own right career, in my opinion, should be a Hall of Famer. He's a Giants Hall of Famer. And then a buddy of mine, Eric Burns, who played out there for the A's for a little while, grew up a big Giants fan. They're ecstatic. They're extremely excited about having Tony V out there. So I think it's going to be a fun experiment to see. And if it proves to be successful for the Giants, might not be the last time we see it. I imagine a guy like Link Jarrett at Florida State. I know it's kind of late in the game, but maybe Tim Corbin at Vandy because he's been entwined in Major League Baseball for a while now. Maybe he makes the jump from the last 10 years or so of his career. Who knows? If the money's right, I don't see why you would pass as a coach and manager on an opportunity to go to the big leagues.
College.
Exactly. So, well, hey, with that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the new, most recent college football playoff rankings. Some people, some Big Ten people, a little upset today, kind of wondering, where they're at, their piece of the puzzle in this whole thing. We're going to talk about it all when we come back here on The Drive.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
All right, Mr. Gobbles, it's that time of year again. Got any last requests? What? You want a smoking hot deal on a new Kia? Mucho dinero for your trade and your credit pardon? Well, you're going to have to come to Kia Cleveland today. This is John Davis, the trade-in man at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway with great news for turkeys. Kia Cleveland will pay you up to $7,000 over Kelly Blue Book market value for your old turkey that you're driving. That's right, up to $7,000 for any trade in any condition, and we'll buy your car for cash, even if you don't buy a car from us. Got foul credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders will say yes to you and yes to your situation. So quit your old car, cold turkey, and get up to $7,000 for any trade in any condition. Come see me, John Davis, at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Negative trade equity finance with a new loan subject to lender approval. Expires month end. KiaofCleveland.com.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our Urgent Ortho Walk-In Clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it.
Not all composite decking is the same. Enjoy life's beautiful moments on an equally beautiful composite deck. Envision's products feature deep, non-repeating grains and distinct colors throughout each pour, offering a truly unique appearance unlike anything else on the market. Learn more and find inspiration for your project at Cleveland Plywood. Cleveland Plywood Company, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland.
This Friday evening, the Walker Valley Mustangs travel to Sevier County for round 2 of the playoffs. And we've got great news for you. You can watch all the action live on MixTV.tv this Friday. You don't have MixTV.tv? It's available for free on the Mix app. You can download it at MyMix1041.com. Walker Valley, Sevier County. Watch the entire game on MixTV.tv. Driven by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland.
This Thanksgiving season, all of us at Honda Cleveland just want to say thank you for your trust, your loyalty, and for letting us be part of your journey. We're proud to be a 3-time Honda President's Award winner and a Carfax top-rated lifetime dealer. And it's all because of you. Right now, we're celebrating with special Happy Honda Day savings. Get more for your trade-in. Finance your new Honda from just 2.99% APR and make no payments for 90 days. That's right, no payments for 90 days, so you can keep your cash for the holidays. And don't miss our true certified pre-owned Hondas too. They're backed by a 3-day return policy, 24/7 roadside assistance, and a powerful warranty. Honda Cleveland, your car, your way, every day. Just off I-75, exit 20, 1 mile east. From all of us at Honda Cleveland, happy Thanksgiving, and we hope to see you soon.
Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Visit milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 per hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. And we had the second version of the college football playoff rankings released last night, and top of the list was pretty consistent, but there was a little shake up there in the poll.
How about the Big Ten getting all the love with the first 2 spots? Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Indiana.
Well, last year they had the same thing, except it was Oregon and Ohio State.
Yeah. We kind of went around and around with this yesterday. In my opinion, I think that should be split by Texas A&M at the moment. Texas A&M sitting at 9-0. And I get Indiana undefeated's undefeated. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. But I feel like conversations have to be universal. And the reason I'm throwing this out there is because there's a lot of people that are frustrated with my Fighting Irish coming in sitting at number 9. And a lot of those people are Big Ten fans, Utah fans, BYU fans saying, well, why is Notre Dame sitting there at 9? That could mess up us getting another team in this thing potentially. And the issue is, when you dissect that and you look at that and they say, well, listen, Notre Dame's got 2 losses. Right now, Utah's got 2 losses. Vanderbilt's got 2 losses. What makes Notre Dame better than those 2 losses?
And BYU's got the 1 loss. I can see them beat up. But if you've also got 2 losses, I'm like, you know what? But you both got 2 losses.
But this is where diving into the matchups is important. And the BYU perspective, as you just said, understand that a little bit more. But when you look at the 2 losses of Notre Dame to Miami and Texas A&M right now sitting at number 3, arguably should be number 2. It's flip a coin right now, honestly, between Indiana and Texas A&M. We've still got weeks to play. But the argument is Notre Dame lost by 4 points.
Total.
total to two different teams that are ranked in this top 15 right now currently, and one of them being the number 3 team. And then when you look over at what Utah has done, one of their losses was a 34-10 loss to Texas Tech. Texas Tech, quality program. But that's a big separation. The other one was to BYU in a little bit closer game. So when you look at the two losses there's a little bit of difference in a lot of people's opinion. Then when you go to Vanderbilt, and I'm just as much of a bandwagon Vandy fan as anybody right now. I love what Diego Pavia and Clark Lee got going on up there. But, like, who's Vanderbilt beat to really say, oh, we've beat a good team? They've not done that. They've not beaten anyone that's ranked.
It is one of these things where, you've got
that's currently ranked. Let me rephrase that.
The one-loss teams and all these two-loss teams, I know we sit there and we come up with all these scenarios. If Texas and Oklahoma win this weekend and they beat Georgia and Alabama, then we got this scenario. But at some point, we will see a bunch of three-loss teams at some point. And we're going to have the two-loss teams are going to have the argument over all of the three-loss teams. That's just the fact.
So, but here's my thing. To play devil's advocate, Notre Dame's sitting at 9, and their best win is 17 South California, USC, right? Mm-hmm. You could argue that Vandy lost to the number 4 team and lost to the number 10 team, and they have a win over – I guess they're not ranked in this, though. They have ranked over at the time, was ranked Missouri. And so is that USC win 5 spots better for Notre Dame?
Well,
or is it,
when you use the term, I was on board with what you were saying until you said 5 spots better, because then you've got to account the body of work of those teams in between the two, because they have an argument in that conversation as well.
Right, but like you're rewarding Notre Dame for their 2 losses, but you're punishing Vandy for their 2.
Okay, here's how I look at this stuff, guys. I get the resume stuff. I get it. But, man, there comes a point where you're just like, the selection committee is supposed to put the best teams in there. And how you define best is up to you. But I know this much. As an Ohio State guy, I'd much rather play Vanderbilt than Notre Dame. 100 times. Notre Dame, they've got a bunch, to me, a lot better guys, a lot better roster than Vanderbilt. And so I look at it like this. At the end of the day, when you've got similar resumes, just in your mind, who do you think's the better team? Who do you believe is better? And that's where you just put them in that order you think's better. And that's all subjective. That my opinion of who's better and your opinion of who's better could be completely different.
I'm kind of with Lane Kiffin in all of this. I would let Vegas decide.
But Vegas, here's the thing. Vegas does their point spreads based on they want people to bet on both sides. That's how they do it. They don't truly do it based on roster versus roster. They're looking at getting guys to gamble. So if you do it the way Vegas typically does it, that wouldn't work either. You would have to throw out betting as a whole and say who's the better team, because Vegas puts lines on these games to get bets on both sides of the side.
And that's why I'm constantly saying there's so much more. Like, you can dissect this with a fine-tooth comb if you really want to. If you want to dive into it, and I'm going to throw something out there here in just a second, but the eye test and the quality of the talent on a team still has to matter.
That's me.
I'm on board with that 100%, because at the end of the day, and I always say this is an incomplete process. This is not accurate right now, and people will get these opinions and argue because the process is still. It's kind of like baking a cake. Right now, it's still batter. There's nothing's risen yet. We're at that point of the ranking process. Yep. The cake has not been baked yet. It's not complete, so it's not going to taste good. Right now, there's people with a bad taste in their mouth, and it's because this process has to play out for it to be accurate. So this is more of a recipe than I think people want to say, well, this needs to be accurate right now. They're not trying to predict the future. Yeah. That's not what they're trying to do.
If Indiana and Texas A&M did line up on a neutral field, I don't know what the line. It would be extremely close. I know this much: if Notre Dame lined up against Vanderbilt on a neutral field, it would be a pretty significant point spread.
See, I don't feel that way, y'all.
Oh, I do.
I don't.
I think Notre Dame would be a 10-point favorite.
I'm going to throw this out there. So I'm going to start with the Big Ten with common opponents with my Irish. So Notre Dame beat Purdue by 26 points. You look at that and you're like, oh, maybe Notre Dame should have crushed them a little bit more than that. The number one team in the Big Ten, Ohio State, beat Purdue by 24 points. That's Purdue's worst 2 losses on the season were to Ohio State and Notre Dame, and pretty much the same, 26 and 24 points. Mm-hmm. If you go over to the SEC, Notre Dame beat Arkansas by 43 points. The number one team in the SEC, Texas A&M, beat Arkansas by 3 points.
And gave up 42.
And then also 5 SEC teams beat Arkansas by combined 24 points. And that's just over half of what Notre Dame single-handedly beat them by.
See, I don't put a whole lot of stock in
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can dissect this as deep as you want to go.
You can.
Absolutely.
I don't put a whole lot of stock into it just because as a Georgia fan, Georgia's comfortable of getting up 17 points and then throwing the backups in and getting if you kept your ones in for forever, you're not developing anybody.
I'm going to tell you all a team that we haven't talked about hardly at all on this show. That Texas Tech team is the real deal, guys.
I thought you were going to say Texas.
No, Texas Tech is the real deal.
Their defense is.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think they're going to go 11-1 in the regular season. I think they're going to win the Big 12. They're going to be sitting there at 12-1. They're going to get a top 4 slot. It's not going to be 2 SEC and 2 Big 10 teams. I'll bet you money that Texas Tech grabs one of those top 4 seeds.
So we said it can't a loss in the championship can't hurt you, but a win can help you.
Yeah.
So inadvertently it could hurt an Alabama. Let's say Texas A&M beats Alabama.
I still don't believe that a loss can't hurt you. I do not believe that.
Last night on the show, the Rhodes, whatever his last first name is, he actually said this. I'm glad you brought that up, Jacob. He said, if a team is blown out in a championship game, it could hurt them. And I'm sitting there going, that's wrong.
Well, let's take this scenario.
He said that on the show last night.
Let's go back to Florida State a few years ago. Let's say it happens in the championship game, or let's say Georgia last year. Your quarterback, Jordan Travis for Florida State last year, your boy Carson Beck goes down, and let's say you come out on the losing end of that game, and now the committee's looking at, well, they just lost their quarterback. And let's pretend that Georgia didn't have Gunnar Stockton sitting there ready to be successful and do what he's clearly been able to do. And there's a drop-off. Name the guy who came in for Jordan Travis. Nobody can. We don't remember. Nobody cares.
I don't remember.
So in that situation, the committee's going to say, oh, you know what? They lost a 3-point game in a championship game, but Jordan Travis went down. I don't think we can put them in, guys. They're not going to be competitive. That will absolutely happen again, and everyone's going to lose their minds over it. But I promise you, if we stay in this format for a couple of years, if not this year, next year, we will see that scenario happen.
Is it to a 10, 11, 12 team, or are we talking about if Texas A&M all of a sudden woke up and their quarterback wasn't playing anymore?
Yeah, they would still get in, but they would. Their seed would probably go
I don't think you
down.
could drop out like north of, let's say, hypothetically speaking, 5 or 6 spots. But if you're one of those fringe teams, if you're 8 or below, I could see it happening. I absolutely 100% could.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing that's kind of going on out there, Texas fans are upset. They're like, "What? Why are we 10? Why are we one of these fringe teams? We've only got 2 losses too, and Notre Dame's a spot above us with 2 losses."
Florida loss.
They should be upset.
It's the Florida loss.
You can't lose to Florida.
Exactly.
Exactly. You should.
So they shouldn't be upset because you lost to Florida.
No, I understand. Here's the thing. It's all how you want to look at this. At the end of the day, Notre Dame lost 2 games early and has done everything they're supposed to.
And they've won 7 straight since.
And teams in front of them have lost, so naturally they move up. That's just how that works. But if you lose to Florida, the Florida that just got their belt
Kentucky just beat them to death.
Just took a belt to them.
Yeah.
You can't justify that loss.
I agree.
You can justify a loss against 2 top 10 teams.
Yeah, every time Florida loses, that just hurts Texas's cause.
Yeah. So to me, if you're a Texas fan, you have you should be shaken. I'll be honest. I was shocked to see them at 10. I was. Yeah. I was shocked to see them inside.
We counted them out here on this show.
Well,
we thought early they were.
I'll
done.
say this: if you just maintain 2 losses, you've got a decent argument. Once you lose the third game, I'm sorry, all bets are off. You're probably not going to get in the 12-team scenario.
I promise
maybe
you,
16 you might, but not in 12.
I promise you this. I've talked a lot about Notre Dame today. As a Notre Dame fan, if they go into Pitt, which Pat Narduzzi's not giving me a whole lot to worry about right now if you've seen his comments.
100-point loss.
I'll take a 100-point loss to Notre Dame if we can win the ACC. But I'll say this. If Notre Dame loses a 8 overtime game at Pitt, I'm not going to argue to get in the playoff.
No, you can't.
I'm not. That's 3. You're done.
Yep.
This is the next scenario I wanted to throw up before we take a break. So right now, the one game that my anticipation for, and I'm very excited for, personally, I think it's going to be a blowout when it happens, is the Big Ten championship game. I think Ohio State is going to absolutely expose and crush Indiana.
I don't.
So, listen.
I think it'd be close, but that's me.
Humble take from the Buckeye over here, but I'm going to say this. We talk about how a loss doesn't hurt you in a championship game. When Ohio State puts up north of 40 points on Indiana and Indiana walks out of there scoring 14 or 17, do you mean to tell me Texas A&M's wouldn't jump Indiana if they win the SEC?
So I think we need to define hurt you. Hurt you can bump you back, but you're still in.
Okay.
I think hurt you meaning bump you out. Like if you go play in a game,
I agree with what you just
that
said.
Notre Dame's not playing in. Like, or really, I'm sorry, that was a little picky. There's lots of teams that are not playing in a championship game now that the 12-team playoffs are about.
Hey, I felt the jab. It's all good.
If a team gets blown out, that let's say Georgia doesn't make the SEC championship and Georgia gets to stay in, but another team's out because they went and played, you're done with championship games. They're not happening anymore.
You're right.
Teams will say there's no point in playing this game. It only hurts you.
We got COVID. Our
see,
team's got COVID this week. Sorry.
We'll seed ourselves.
Yeah.
Conferences will start saying that because at the end of the day, the object is to win. The scenario I wanted to talk about, there's a good chance. Not a good chance. There is a doomsday scenario where I've been talking about the ACC could play spoilers. Well, if the ACC implodes, you could not see the ACC in
at all
the playoffs.
You're right.
They could explode if Georgia Tech loses and Miami loses and then Pitt loses by 100. He's over here saying, I could care less. You should care.
Let's say South Florida wins out and JMU, that's James Madison, they both went out. They could both be ahead of the highest-rated ACC team. The ACC could be just shut out.
Yeah,
it's possible.
It's not. They're not saying we're going to take the 4 power conferences. They're taking the highest-ranked conference champions.
That's 5.
And so, if a JMU sitting at 21 and that USF is sitting at 23, and all these teams lost, and you've got Georgia Tech going into the ACC championship, and they come out at 25, Georgia Tech ain't going.
Right.
So I know that currently this season, neither one of these teams are pulling their weight. But do you think Florida State, Clemson, that adds more fuel to the fire to get out of the ACC?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, it absolutely does. It absolutely does.
One of my friends said it best. Like, Vanderbilt just started caring about football last year. But for the past 15 or 20 years, Vandy has been cashing a $70 million check from TV revenue.
Double what Clemson and Florida State have been
Clemson in like 35.
Yeah.
And so they already are barking to get out. That would just make it 10 times worse. Because think about how much money Notre Dame, because they're not a part of a conference, took in last year from
that playoff run.
Off the playoff run.
Oh, yeah.
If you're left out of the playoffs, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
I got a solution for all these teams complaining and whining. Utah, go independent. You've got the option. Every team has the option. Everybody does. Go independent, see how it works out for you. Hey, you've been listening to The Drive. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Bradley Central head football coach Damon Floyd.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Hey, this is Alfonso, the general manager of Crown Cleveland, your local home for Jeep and Ram. I'm here to announce that we have revamped our express lane. We are fully staffed and ready to take care of all your quick lube and oil needs. Please Google Crown Cleveland and see our great service specials.
Men, when it comes to your health, don't cut corners. At Tennessee Valley Urology Center, they do men's health the right way. They believe in evidence-based treatments, honest conversations, and care that's tailored to you, not cookie-cutter solution. Call or visit tnvalleyurology.com to book your appointment today.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell.
Cleveland Tire Center, locally owned and operated for over 45 years. Cleveland Tire, your one-stop auto care shop in Cleveland. North Lee Highway, where the name says it all.
Cleveland, the all-new Select Flooring and Remodeling is now open at 5555 North Lee Highway. We carry the top flooring brands you know and trust: Mohawk, Shaw, Engineered Floors, and United Weavers. We also specialize in home remodeling and roofing, delivering quality you can count on. Take advantage of 24 months interest-free credit. Come see us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 2. Call us today at 423-889-3007. That's Select Flooring and Remodeling, 5555 North Lee Highway, Cleveland. From the floors to the roof, we've got you covered.
Mix 104.1 and Honda of Cleveland are teaming up to give one deserving teacher in our local area the chance to win a 2025 Honda Civic LX. Nominate your favorite teacher at mymix1041.com or on the Mix 1041 app.
Hey Cleveland, are you suffering from fatigue, low sex drive, or just not feeling like yourself? Optimize You is the answer that you have been looking for. Our team is here to listen and help you become the best version of yourself again. So find us online at OptimizeYouCenters.com. That's OptimizeYouCenters.com.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
When it comes to Mayfield Dairy ice cream, you'll never have a boring bite. Pick some up today at your local grocery store and learn more at MayfieldDairy.com. And with that, got some quick news here before we're going to be joined by Bradley Central head football coach Damon Floyd. We talked about last night, big night here in the community for middle school wrestling. Lake Forest hosted Ocoee. The varsity Bruins came away with the win in that match, 52-36. And then in the first ever girls middle school dual meet in the state of Tennessee, Ocoee beat Lake Forest 66-0. So the Lake Forest varsity team coming up with the win there, 52-36, and then the Ocoee girls winning 66-0. Big news there. And also, we know Cleveland Middle wrestled North Whitfield Middle last night, waiting on a score. Cleveland Middle did win. I know that. Didn't want to put a wrong score out there. So with that, we're joined by Bradley Central head football coach Damon Floyd. Coach Floyd, excited to have you on with us today, and obviously excited for the opportunity you guys have to head up to Oakland this Friday.
Well, then I probably need y'all to dress out because I'm not sure how many we have excited the way we practiced today. Yeah, to be honest, it was rough. I don't know if I should be politically correct here or not, or if I should be honest, but very, very frustrated after today's practice.
Well, Coach, I'll say this: we always appreciate your honesty. It's a good thing to hear, and that you're going to hold your boys accountable. To throw it back to last Friday, though, you know, I listened to you guys on the radio Friday night. We're in a close game there at halftime, but then pulled away and played a pretty good second half. Kind of talk about last Friday night.
Yeah, first half went about the way you'd expect. I mean, in the playoffs. I mean, Jefferson County, we got a lot of respect for them. They're a good football team. They had some quality wins. The two losses they had were against two good teams, so we knew it was going to be a battle. And really, that first half was kind of filling each other out a little bit. But the second half, I thought was the best half we had played all year, and I think it really boiled down to our guys were really, really focused in the second half. You could tell at halftime, you know, we gave up a late score there, I think with seconds left for them to take the lead. And I think it bothered our kids, and they did not want to go home. You know, they wanted to play another round, and so they were really focused. And, you know, like I said, I think we played our best half of football that second half. But we were able – it was a really good team win. I mean, we ran the ball really well. Our offensive line took over that third quarter, that first possession. I don't know if we threw the ball that particular possession because we we really controlled the line of scrimmage. We rotate a lot of running backs. Braden Carroll had some huge catches. Tucker, I think, was a 9 of 11 throwing on the night. Defensively, we played really, really well until the last series of the game, and we probably got a little lackadaisical and played a little bit too much prevent, and they end up scoring. But overall, really, Noah Canales, he had a really good night. Made all of his extra points, made a field goal that was huge. So overall, a whole lot of guys really stepped up.
Coach, I know that you're not happy about what happened at practice today, and obviously try to get that out of your mind when you do answer this question. The Bradley Central Bears will defeat Oakland if they do what? Complete that sentence.
If we play perfect and Oakland does not. I mean, look, they're really good. I mean, I think that I could be wrong on the exact number. I know they got a lot of Division I players. I think they have 8 guys on defense committed to Division I schools, and that doesn't include the ones that are not committed. Like I think they have a defensive lineman that's top 300 in the nation who's not picked a school. And that's just their defense. I mean, their offense, their 2 quarterbacks actually rotate every play. They're 2 transfers that can absolutely fly. Yeah, one of them's from Innsworth, one of them's from Riverdale. They got Craig Tutt, who's going to Ole Miss. He plays running back and safety. He's ranked the #1 safety in the nation. They got Joel White, who plays receiver. It's about 6'5". He's committed to UT. I mean, they're really, really good. And I told our team, yes, it's probably the best team I've ever seen, preparing for anybody. They're talented. They're definitely the fastest team we've ever seen. But it's a great opportunity. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is we lose the game. But I don't know how you can't be excited to go play. I mean, you got an opportunity to play them, and you got a chance to prove yourself. And it's like I told them, we don't have to be better. We don't have to be better than them except for one night. We're just one night out of the year. Yep. And, we can't think about going over there and winning 4 quarters. We got to go over there and win the very first play. And then when that one's over, we got to win the next play. And guess what? You're going to get whipped sometimes, but you don't think we're going to win some individual battles along the way? And that's the way I think about it. Offensively, we've been very upfront and honest. Look, we got to get 3 yards. Just get 3 yards of play. You're telling me somebody can stop us from getting 3 yards. I don't believe that if we're all doing our job. And that's the kind of game it's got to be. We've got to run the ball. We're not going to outscore them. I mean, you're not. They've given up 55 points the whole year. 35 of those was in 2 games. 21 was to Riverdale, who's pretty talented themselves. So we're not going to go beat them 40-10 or anything like that. It's got to be a dogfight.
Right.
And our defense is going to get put in bad situations, and we've got to bow our back. Special teams, we can't lose. I think they actually have 9 returns on special teams this year. So, I mean, they're good in every aspect. But, hey, why not? Why not us? I mean, we got a chance. That's why they play the game. And I figured our guys would be really excited for this opportunity. And we got a lot of guys that are. But you know this. You can't have 6 guys on defense excited and the other 5 not, or the same thing on offense. So I would just like to see a little bit more focus on a game like this.
Hey, as Lloyd Christmas once said, so you're telling me there's a chance.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but you're going to have to beat me before I believe it, you know. And I've been beat before. I get it. But you're going to have to beat me. I'm going to show up.
Right.
And I'm going to fight you. And so I just hope our guys, I hope we can, keep preaching that message and they buy into it.
Well, one thing that I can say off of your response a second ago with having the individual, some are excited, some are not. When you've got a guy like A.J. Westfield on that defensive line, I guarantee you he's one of the ones excited for the opportunity to show what he's able to do. As a good teammate, you've got to rally around that guy and show up for him.
Well, and that's what we tell our underclassmen actually every game. But your job is to play as hard as you can for these seniors because they can't come back next week. They can't redo this. This is it. And so, I don't know. It's all the coaching cliches you can think about, but it's going to take a valiant effort, but why not? Let's go over there and just lay it on the line and see what happens. And like I said before, I think it's a great opportunity. There's nobody else I'd rather play, I'll be honest. At some point, if you want to win it all, and that's everybody's goal, that's the only goal we have, you're going to have to beat Oakland at some point. So why not the second round?
Good point.
Coach, I know you ran into Oakland a few years ago with a very talented team. have you used that at all with some of the guys that were there on that roster as motivation to try to go get that one back?
Well, we did say, going into the fourth quarter when we played them 2 years ago, it was 17-17. And I use an example of like Maryville this year. It was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter, and then they scored 36 on us in the second quarter. I use that example of 17-17 going in the fourth quarter, and all of a sudden they scored 21 points. So we have to handle the emotion of like it can't snowball. And obviously the good teams that do that, and there's a reason why, but we have to handle the emotion. So when bad things happen, it can't go from a touchdown to 3 touchdowns. We've got to just, if a bad thing happens, we stick together, we overcome it, and we just continue to fight. Otherwise, it'll get ugly quick. I mean, it's like they have done that to a lot of people, and we can't let that happen.
Coach Floyd, yesterday when we were talking with Coach Drew Akins and Walker Valley, what's coming up with them in a similar situation, playing a defending state champ, we asked him, what does the itinerary look like for you guys, not only for the rest of the week, but leading up to this game on Friday? You guys going to school? You leaving early? What's your plan with the Bears?
Well, it'll kind of stay similar to what we have because obviously, it's different time zones. So actually when we're kicking off is 8 o'clock our time, so we can't leave too early. But so it's kind of very similar to the region games that we have, in Knoxville. So we've traveled, quite a bit this year anyway. So we'll leave about 2. Well, we'll get out of school about 1. We'll do a walkthrough at Bradley. We'll drive halfway and eat. And then I always like to eat and then give them about an hour back on the bus to kind of if they want to take a nap or something like that. So we'll eat in Manchester, and then we'll drive over another hour, get there about 2 hours and 15 minutes before kickoff, get taped, and first group goes out about an hour after we get there.
Well, Coach, man, we are all rooting hard for you, and just hopefully the practice tomorrow will get you in a better mood. How's that?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, and like I said, we got a lot of guys that are showing up and doing what they got to do to get ready for the game. It's just we got to have everybody. And sometimes I may let a few affect me more than it should, but I know you don't get these opportunities very often in life, and I want these guys to understand you got one shot. And I don't want to look back in another week or 2 weeks or 10 years and think, what if we'd have done this? So. But that's my job. That's why I'm the coach. So, I got to quit blaming people. I got to get it right.
Well, Coach, you've done a good job over there for a long time. We've talked about it on this show before, but just the turnaround that Bradley Central football's taken in your tenure and the level of expectation that you've put on yourself is impressive. So we're definitely pulling for you here on the drive and everyone here at our stations. And I do have one more question before we let you go, though. So Jim and I are calling the Walker Valley Sevier County game. We're going to be outside in the elements, in the bleachers with the fans calling the game. Do you know if RC and Gary have a setup up there where they're going to have like a waiter like bringing them like drinks and meals and stuff at Oakland, or how's that going to work out?
Yeah, last I heard they have their own butler. So
that's it.
Yep, they got heaters, they got recliners, and I think it's a buffet up there. So,
and that's what Gary demands. That's what Gary demands.
That's right.
Coach Floyd, man, thanks so much for calling the show. Good stuff. As Jacob said, love your transparency, and wish you guys all the best. And have a feeling the Bears are going to straighten it out the rest of the week and get things ready to go.
Well, I appreciate it. That's the plan. Give it everything we got, and whatever happens, happens.
All right, Coach Floyd, thanks again, man.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I always love calling him because for a long time I've heard people talk about how much they love Coach Floyd and the energy that he brings and the realness. My brother-in-law played for him, and he said I would run through a wall for that man. And like hearing him talk, I'm like ready to I'm not a Bradley guy. I'm ready to go strap on a Bradley uniform and go run through a wall and go get beat up by a bunch of Division I football players, because that's if
Coach Floyd's still listening, let's get Jacob a jersey, and he'll make sure.
He's still got eligibility.
We'll make sure that the Bears have the freshest water on the sideline for the entire night. That's how that'll go down.
High quality H2O. I'm telling you.
That's it.
But no, for real, he I love the transparency.
He's a motivator, man. He really is.
It got me fired up for them.
Yeah,
you know,
same here.
like the opportunity to go play that game, you don't get it often.
One thing that he said, and Coach Aiken said this as well, that I hope our listeners kind of hear, and like people get frustrated. Well, you didn't win a region champ. All that stuff's over and in the past, and you're at a point now where you're Bradley. If you're going to win a state title this year, as Coach Floyd just said, you got to beat Oakland at some point in this playoff. If you're Walker Valley, you've got to beat Sevier County either this round or the next round.
You're going to face them at some point.
Yeah.
He talked about the quarterback situation there. I knew they played two guys, but I didn't know they alternated them on every other play.
And I imagine
that's crazy.
I imagine it's kind of like what you used to see when teams still huddled and they'd send a receiver in every play.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the quarterback's right there with the head coach, head coach in his ear saying, "This is what I want you to do." Like there is. I kind of was like, dude, how is there any consistency? As he continued to talk, I kind of thought about it and I said, you know what? There's probably a lot of benefit in that as well.
Yeah, you're probably knowing that you have a stout defense. You're slowing pace of play. Like you're determining how fast or how slow you go.
They've given up 55 points the entire season. That's crazy.
We
stuff,
were looking at their schedule over here on the computer, and all the zeros that were put up. I was just like, oh my goodness.
So their closest games are CPA, which they won 28-14. And then Rockville was 35-14. And then Riverdale, 35-21. And then Cookeville, 42-10. So those are the only teams that put up any points on them.
That's unreal.
There's one. Pearl-Con got 6 points. So, man, this is wild. They're 11-0 on the season up to this point, but this is one thing that coming from being a wrestling coach, coming from that realm of things, like if you step out there thinking you don't have a chance, then it's over. It's already over. You've made that excuse in your mind.
And I love the way he said, he goes, win each play. He don't go further than the one play. Win that play. We're not going to win every play, but win that play. Then win the next one, and then try to win the next one. He goes, and they're going to win some plays too. He goes, but if you do enough of it, you've got a chance.
Yeah.
Lloyd Christmas, you're telling me there's a chance.
You're telling me there's a chance, but I loved it.
Yeah. Hey, with that, we got to get out of here. You've been listening to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. For Jim Gum, Jacob Mason, I'm Andy Morris. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back with you tomorrow.